Probably the single most frequent question in the Q&A after I lecture, it's always the person who finally says, my dog is 15 and they have cancer, what should we feed? The answer I never give, but is the one I'd like to give. Well, the time to ask that question was 15 years ago. It so happens there are things you can do. And surprise, surprise, one of them is get rid of the soluble carbohydrate. And there is growing evidence that this makes a difference.
I'm Carrie Hyde, the owner of the spa in Tustin, California, the first holistic, cage-free, relaxing spa for dogs, and this is the Spawdcast. Why did I open the spa? Because during my time working with vets, I started to notice a pattern. Dogs and cats were getting sicker, and no one was asking why. So I had a decision to make. I left the veterinary field in 2000 and opened up the first holistic grooming salon in Orange County, California. Our philosophy at the spa is to advocate for the quality of your pet's overall health. And it is these reasons that we created this podcast, to open your eyes to the questions you may not even know to ask, and to talk with the experts that will shine light on the answers you need. This is a no-bull, tell-the-truth kind of podcast with the occasional pet pun. I'm Carrie Hyde, and I want to be your pet's life coach. You're listening to the Spawdcast, produced by the Spa in Tustin, California. Make sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and be sure to like and leave us a review of your thoughts on our show. And if you have a question about your furry family member, you can ask us by going to our Facebook page, The Spa in Tustin, California, because we want to be your pet's life coach. Enjoy the show! Hi, and welcome to the Spawdcast. My name is Carrie Hyde, and I'm your host and your pet's life coach. Today we're going to be talking about the history of dog food. And while some of you may think that that's an uninteresting topic, it's actually one of the most interesting topics. And so I brought in some of the most interesting people that I know, because in order for us to understand why it's so important for us to change what our pets are feeding, we need to understand why we were feeding the food that we've been feeding and how it became on the shelves in your local grocery stores. So I brought in some great people I think are going to be fabulous at talking. So first I want to introduce you to my co-host for today, Christina Geiger.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Hi, Christina. So Christina is one of my clients, and she has 2 dogs, and one of her dogs has diabetes. And so she has made sure that her dog with diabetes is on the right diet and making sure that she's not eating kibble and doing anything that will help that diabetes. Since you've been doing that, how have you been finding with the diabetes? Is it getting manageable?
Completely manageable. After I changed her diet and we went back to have her blood work checked again, we only needed 3 mLs of insulin twice a day, which I've been told is an amazing thing for a 12-year-old dog.
Yeah.
So I will live and die by a raw diet now.
You know, it's interesting because I always say that the clients who see the change from when their health, when you have it, especially diabetes, because it's pretty measurable. We can measure it with the insulin, how much the body needs it. So those are usually the clients that become the most compliant to, changing their diets and doing that. So, but we needed to bring somebody on, and Christina's going to help me to interview our expert for today, who is one of the most interesting people I know. I have introduced him to you before and told you that he is one of my heroes. And I say that not jokingly, I say that totally because he has dedicated his entire life to animals, and in a big way. Like, I've dedicated my entire life to cats and dogs, but he's dedicated his life to animals of all sorts. And so I want to introduce you today to Dr. Richard Patton. Hi, Dr. Patton, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. A pleasure to be here.
So Dr. Patton is a bioscientist. So Dr. Patton, can you tell us what is a bioscientist? Most people don't really understand what that is.
I guess I would say you all know bio meaning life or biology, and then science. So it's a combination of the science of studying the biology of life.
The biology of life. Thank you. I needed that definition myself.